Studio with Dr. Josie. Her podcast launches today. It's a great podcast if you love animals. It's called In the Vet's Office.
In the Vet's Office.
You're a vet. How long have you been a vet?
I have been a vet for, I have to think about this, 7 years. Almost 8 years.
You know, I like my doctors, my surgeons, my vets, my ball players to not be too emotional. And I wonder if this is a place you get, because obviously you get into animal medicine because you love animals. But I wouldn't want you or my doctor reacting out of emotion. I would want you to be calm, cool, collected when making decisions or cutting. Do you feel that you still get super emotional at times when animals come in, or can you separate the two?
No, I'm really good at compartmentalizing. I mean, of course, I care about the animals.
Yes.
But I'll do surgery on my own animal. Like, I know I'm the best, and I just have to put my feelings aside, and it's like it's business, you know?
Because emotion does affect performance.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And it can in a negative way. And I want my surgeon to be like, just another day. I'm very educated. I believe in myself, but it's just another day at doing what I'm good at. I don't want to be like, oh boy, we got a big one today.
But like Dr. Josie, though, where they can separate, not come back and see you like, they died. Sorry.
Yeah.
See you later.
Yeah, totally. I mean, there's a
Right?
huge component to it of where when I'm talking to owners.
Like a human element.
Very empathetic and compassionate, of course. But like when it comes to surgery, I'm not sweating.
Yeah, I would want everybody as cool. Like we had Michael Chandler, who's a UFC fighter, in studio, and this is when he was going to go and have a big fight with
Conor McGregor.
And he's like, yeah, I don't get pumped up before a fight. I can't. I try to get as normal as I can be because I want to be able to think clearly on everything that I've trained to do. And I think, it feels like that shouldn't be what you want, but it is what I want from my doctor.
Yeah.
I think
my
next
vet.
time I'm walking to the OR, I'm going to come out like I'm going into a UFC fight.
With people behind
Yeah.
her, like
Yeah.
getting her
Like
up,
Hey,
getting her pumped up.
people are going to be like massaging my shoulders.
Yeah.
Have a robe on and like take it off.
Yeah, exactly.
You ever do
My
hey,
surgery gown.
Dr. Josie, this just came in, and you have to go, oh God, and you have to go right into it.
Yeah, we see emergencies, like if a hit by car is coming in and they're, bleeding excessively. Yeah. All the time we see emergencies.
That'd be such a hard job.
Have you ever been in the middle of one? Because, I mean, we wonder this about doctors working on humans too, but where you're like, oh, shoot, I should probably Google this real quick, like to figure out.
Google it.
Yeah, or AI or.
Not mid-procedure. If I'm in a procedure, like I am prepared, I know exactly what I'm doing. I will say, like sometimes people will be like, hey, can you look at my chinchilla? And I'm like, I don't know.
Oh, like you don't have a big history of chinchilla looking.
Yeah, like I didn't learn about chinchillas in vet school, so I'm like, I should probably watch a YouTube video or read a textbook before this. So
I'll bet you get some weird animals.
yeah, I mean, we'll get what's a sugar glider? I saw one of
Like
those.
a bat? That's basically a bat,
it's
right?
like a little monkey bat. Mm-hmm.
And then what do? Are all animals the same? Just different size organs?
Well, mammals tend to be pretty much the same, but yeah, like reptiles, birds, very, very different.
Let's say I needed a surgery. You could kind of do that. On Walking Dead, the vet ended up being like a doctor. 'Cause a lot of the doctors were dead, so they knew the general things to do with the body.
Unless it was the zombie apocalypse, I would lose my license doing that.
No, but let's say it
could
is. But could you?
I could.
Oh, yeah. My uncle was the town vet in Dilley, Texas, and he worked on cattle, little tiny chihuahuas, and humans.
Yeah,
So
very similar.
large, small, everything.
All of the above.
All right, Dr. Josie's here. A new podcast is out today. I want to ask you some general mythish type questions about animals.
Okay.
Are dogs colorblind?
They're not colorblind the way we think of it. It's not like they see black and white, but they see less of a spectrum. Like they don't see the full rainbow of colors. So in a sense, yes.
Are dogs' mouths cleaner than human mouths?
This is a huge myth. They are definitely not cleaner than human mouths. They lick their own butts.
So why do we think that? Where did that come from?
I have no idea who made that up, but they are full of baloney.
I think it's to help us deal with the fact that they lick certain areas and then they lick us. So we're just like,
We just made it up.
Oh, their mouths are clean.
And I know it's cute to see them like lick babies, but I'm like, oh God.
Really?
Yeah.
1 human year to 7 dog years. True or false?
I'd say fairly true. I don't know that that's an exact science, but more or less it's fairly true.
Why did you become a vet?
I became a vet because when I was 15, my mom said, if you want to have a car, you have to pay for gas. So you need to get a job. And the first place I passed walking down the street was a vet clinic. I put my application in. I scooped poop for all of high school, all of college, and never looked back.
My first job was a marina. I'm not building boats because I didn't love to build boats. So you must have also found that you loved animals or you could relate to animals? Or?
Of course.
Yeah.
Yes. I loved animals. I grew up on my grandparents' farm. Horses, cows, pigs. They had a peacock at one point. I mean, we had every animal under the sun, so I knew I loved them.
I feel like you have a job too where as soon as someone hears that you're a vet, they have many questions for you and they want to ask all their really personal animal questions to you while they have you without paying you. Does that happen?
Everywhere I go, every day, I am getting asked, hey, my cat's sneezing, or what should I feed my dog? Which is really part of the reason why I started this podcast. I feel like it's really overwhelming being a pet parent this day and age. There's so much information and advertising and marketing, and people just want to know, like, what is the best thing I should do for my animal? And so, that's part of the reason I started this podcast.
Do you feel like there's a lot of false information on social media where people are going, this is what you should do for your dog or cat? And you're like, not so much.
I do. I think there's a lot of like overwhelming marketing, like beautiful packaging, targeted Instagram ads where you're probably going to be paying a little bit more money for a product that is not as great as some other products that are out there. I mean, if someone told me, if they were like, hey, fly to Japan, get Wagyu beef for your dog, it's going to make your dog live forever, like catch me on the next flight to Tokyo, I would do it. But the reality is it doesn't have to be that complicated.
When a dog wags their tail, does that mean they're happy?
For the most part, yes. Sometimes it can be like, oh, I'm really anxious, I don't know what to do, tail wagging. But for the most part, they're usually pretty happy.
My bulldog Stanley goes outside and eats grass sometimes. Why does a dog eat grass?
Dogs, if they're just out like munching on a blade here and there, they like their greens just like we do. They'll kind of forage. So I'm not super concerned about it. If they're like scarfing down grass and then throwing up, it's because their stomach hurts.
So they eat the grass because their stomach hurts?
Yeah, it's like if you know you're going to vomit, you have acid in your stomach, and it's their way of like trying to get something not acidic into their stomach.
Wow.
So they're actually doing something somewhat smart.
Yeah, they're smart.
But Stanley, my bulldog Stanley.
Except for Stanley.
Not the smartest dog at times, but he's out. He'll do that and he'll throw it up. But maybe that's just an instinctual thing more than anything.
It is. I mean, it's animal instinct.
Can cats see in the dark?
Yes, cats have exceptional eyesight.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Are cats evil?
No.
I love my cat. Why would cats be evil, Bobby?
I'm just asking a question.
Cats are
generally
just
people were asking.
different. Like they select who they like for the most part, but to win a cat's love is very rewarding.
Yeah.
Do you have your cat's love? Because it sounds like your cat scratched you and then stays away from you when you tell stories.
This is one time that, so I think because of a situation with my dog, like if she's very frustrated with the dog, I think sometimes she just
Takes
her
it out on
attitude
you.
takes
Yeah.
it out on me. But when she's loving, like when it's bedtime, like she will often come curl up right next to me and sleep with me all night. And I'm like, you do love me, because during the day she sort of ignores me.
Cats are great pets and they're low maintenance.
What about human food that dogs shouldn't have? Because my dog ate grapes once and it was not good. They freaked out. We had to take him in. Mm-hmm. Grapes not good. True? Is that true?
Yes, grapes not good.
Why, by the way?
We don't know exactly why, but grapes can cause kidney failure in dogs.
And then what else? Chocolate?
Chocolate's a bad one. Anything with like a xylitol in it, so an artificial sweetener, that can be really dangerous.
I give my dog sprees every day, and he's doing just fine.
The candy spree.
Yeah, open up sprees and just Stanley, would you like a spree?
I do not condone that.
But I don't even know what that is. So no people food for the most part with dogs?
I mean, it's up to the owner. I really try not to give my dogs people food because then they just sit and they beg and they beg and then they get fat. So, I mean, you can in moderation.
And the chocolate, is it all kinds of chocolate or just dark chocolate? I've heard dark
The
chocolate.
darker the worse, right?
The darker the worse. It has more of the ingredient that's bad for dogs. But chocolate just doesn't sit well with them in general. They'll probably vomit or have diarrhea if you feed them chocolate.
Dr. Josie's here. You can follow her on Instagram, Dr. Josie Vet. New podcast that's out today, and it's called In the Vet's Office. This is, and now I'm going to have you follow up on the story after I play the clip, but this is Josie talking about on the podcast, just finding 40 hair ties in a cat's stomach whenever the cat was just in for a knee injury, right? Mm-hmm. Here you go.
I would never, ever, ever leave my hair ties or dental floss unattended around cats. Cats love string. They have like an affinity for it.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, one of my patients, we were taking an x-ray of its knee. It had torn its ACL ligament and it moved right at the last second. And so we accidentally got a little bit of its stomach on the x-ray and it was full of hair ties. I think when we went to take them out, I think it was 42 hair ties.
What?
Yes.
Oh my
Just an
gosh.
incidental finding, just chilling in its stomach.
He's like, my knee. Also, my
By
stomach
the
is very
way.
full. Oh my gosh.
Must you take the hair ties out, or will the animal pass them?
They had been in there for a very long time. They were all like congealed together and rock hard. So they had to come out. There was no passing those.
So you had to do surgery to get them out?
Yes. I went into the room with the owner and I was like, hey, your cat tore its ACL and we have to do a completely separate surgery to get a bunch of hair ties out of its stomach.
Wow.
Oh my gosh. Because cats' mouths are so little. I'm wondering, like, over time, how, like, when was the cat even doing that? And is the human like, where are all my hair ties? Because 40? Like, I can barely
know.
keep up with 3.
I think a hair tie a week, maybe. Like, I'm not sure what was happening.
I
there.
didn't know they were into that. Okay. And floss.
They love it. They love dental floss. They love tinsel on Christmas trees.
Okay.
Taking a lot of that stuff out.
What's the weirdest thing you've ever found in the stomach of an animal?
We have a really good, I don't want to spoil this episode, but I did find some underwear that the girlfriend bought the dog in and they were not hers.
Boom.
No
That's an
way.
episode right there.
Uh-huh.
That's the craziest way to ever get caught.
Dun,
Yeah,
dun,
it
dun.
was bad.
But could the dog have, like, found them outside?
I don't know. I
What
don't
was
know.
she doing
Yes,
in
yes.
the yard? Yes. Dr. Josie's in. She's also my dog's vet. And she has a podcast out today that's called In the Vet's Office. And by the way, what do you think of Eddie's hair?
I love it.
Yeah?
I think it looks great.
Thank you.
You look like a new man.
I'm not used to it really. I mean, it's still kind of weird. Like, I look at the camera right now. I'm like, oh my gosh, what's on my head?
I showed her a picture of you on Instagram. Her and her husband were at the house having dinner, and we were talking about your hair, and she was like, let me see a picture. She's, oh, that does look great.
Yeah.
She said she was going to
That's
judge
really
it
good.
today. She was going to judge it today.
Okay.
But it looks good, right?
Yeah, verdict's out. I think it looks great.
Thank you.
Are you going to keep it?
I don't know yet.
What did your wife say? Is she warming up to it?
No, just even last night, she was like, oh my gosh, how
But
much
you know
longer
my
are you gonna wear
theory,
that?
right?
I know your theory.
She can't be like, I love it, because eventually if it goes away, you're going to feel like she liked you better with hair.
Possibly.
What are your thoughts on that theory I have? She can't totally embrace it because he may not keep it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think you probably she's so used to the way you looked before.
Absolutely. And
a
what she says
change.
too is even when I did have hair, it wasn't like this. You know, like my line was like way up further.
You were
back.
always losing your hair with her.
Yeah, always.
Well, Dr. Josie's here. We're not talking about your hair.
Right.
but
Don't get sidetracked.
She did want to see it, and I saw her when she came in. She took a good look at it before she said anything.
It's like,
It's like the small animal on his.
What do you think of that animal? What would you do?
Oh, boy.
How much would
Oh,
you
boy.
charge for an appointment with an animal on his head?
I mean,
That's funny.
that grooming appointment.
Dogs during 4th of July, like I assume a lot of dogs either break out or get crazy scared. Well, like, what do you recommend people that have animals that freak out during fireworks?
Get your dog microchipped. If they do get out, that's the easiest way to get them back to you. Don't call us on July 3rd asking for anxiety medications. I think I have 6,000 patients right now, and you would be surprised at how many people wait until the very last minute. So call this week if you know your pet gets nervous.
What about Benadryl? Can you give a dog Benadryl for the same reason?
You can give them Benadryl. It just it's not as effective. There's other medications that work much better.
Over-the-counter stuff from humans or just from you?
They're prescription medications through your vet.
If a dog has a prescription for anxiety meds, can a human take it?
Oh boy.
I would not recommend that.
Based on size, I don't.
Based on size?
Well, like, because I obviously.
I
She
see,
said
based on
she
size.
wouldn't recommend
I don't
that.
recommend it. And
Because
honestly,
she can't.
I know, but
But
why'd you ask her that then? You know she can't.
But wink, wink.
okay, so for example, trazodone is like one of the main situational anxiety medications we use for fireworks. The dog dose is exponentially higher than the human dose.
Right.
They metabolize it differently. So if you took your dog's dose of trazodone, you'd sleep for days.
She's getting excited.
But a pill cutter, you know?
Yeah, I mean,
A pill cutter?
I cannot.
Well, because you can.
You sound like a drug dealer.
Yeah, what's happening here? I mean,
I used to cut pills for my dad all the time.
Okay. Our dogs still bark like crazy when anybody comes to the door. They still get too excited. People come in the house all the time. There's never anything exciting for them, yet they get so excited. How do we stop the dogs from going crazy?
that is an age-old question. I'm actually in the talks of having an amazing trainer that worked with my dog to come on the podcast. So I kind of feel like you got to wait and stay tuned. A lot of the times it's us. We are the problem. So a lot of it is having to retrain what we do with our pets and like giving them structure in the home. So it's not really like a simple, this is what you do answer.
Well, then how do I get my dog to shut up? Just generally, how do I get my dog to shut up? If they won't shut up,
That's a good
especially in the middle of the
question.
night, if there's like a flash, there's one flash. Do they feel like they're protecting the house?
They
Like,
do.
what's going on?
They do. Well, and think about it. They're like, here comes the mailman. Stanley's like, woof, woof, like, get out of here, buddy. And then the mailman leaves. And he's like, yeah, I showed him.
But we don't celebrate him for doing that. So why would he think
he
that's
He
good?
doesn't know. He knows. Yeah, he's watching him walk away. He's like,
Interesting.
But Bobby, it is us. It's the owner problem.
almost always.
What do you think about bulldogs in general? Like English bulldogs, like mine? Because I feel like people shouldn't have them. I feel like they shouldn't be made anymore because I feel like made is the word, and you can counter me and push back. And I love my bulldog, and I would never give him back. But they are always sick. I think Stanley's had double-digit surgeries at this point.
Mm-hmm.
He has trouble living because he can't even breathe. Those dogs naturally. What would you say to someone that wanted like an English bulldog?
I had a professor in school, one of our first lectures, she gave us all a straw and she said, plug your nose and then breathe through the straw. And that's how bulldogs breathe. They have such small airways. And so I think they're so cute. I understand the appeal of them. Like, they're amazing dogs, but if you don't have a very large savings account, I would recommend you probably don't buy a bulldog. They are prone to everything.
What about pet insurance?
Pet insurance is awesome. I highly recommend it. Every time an owner comes in with a puppy or a kitten, get pet insurance right away.
So a fun fact about Dr. Josie, she went to Mexico and then brought a dog home with her. Have you guys heard this story?
No.
How can you do that?
I did. Much to my husband's chagrin, he was so mad at me.
So you guys are there on vacation?
We were there. We were in Sayulita, Mexico. We're walking down the street. We're going in and out of little shops. And then this stray dog just starts following us. And I was like, oh, she's so cute. And then the next thing I know, she's following me the whole trip. And I asked the locals, I was like, hey, does she have an owner? And they're like, no, she doesn't. And I'm like, perfect. I will take you home with me.
How do you get a dog home going through customs? Like, shh, be quiet.
How does
Anything
that
with
work?
you? No.
I can sign off on their international travel paperwork. So I found a Kinko's in Mexico and got her rabies vaccinated. I will say it was also during COVID when things were contactless. So they didn't ask a lot of questions. She was very skinny. Her nipples were so big. I didn't realize. I came home and spayed her and she was pregnant. Yeah. I brought home 11 dogs.
What on earth?
We didn't use the right anesthesia and she was sick. She had a tick-borne disease. The puppies sadly would not have made it. But yeah, that was a surprise.
Wow. And you still have the dog?
Oh yeah. She's my husband was very mad. He's like, why are we on vacation? I've had 2 margaritas. Why am I in a vet clinic getting a rabies vaccine for this mutt? And now he tucks her in every single night.
What'd you
is
name
obsessed
her?
with her. Her name is Saya, and we found her in Sayulita.
Oh,
Very Mexican.
cute.
I like
yeah.
that.
Yeah, she's a Spanish lady.
Should I be brushing my dog's teeth?
You should. I know. If I'm being completely honest, I brush my dog's teeth maybe once a week.
Once a week sounds like
Yeah.
a ton. Wow.
As your vet, I am supposed to tell you with a dead face, you need to brush your dog's teeth every single day.
What?
I don't know that my
What?
dog's teeth have ever been brushed.
And your cats. And your cats.
I
My
can't do
what?
that.
My cat will not sit for that.
That's just what I'm supposed to tell you. I would say realistically, if you can do it every week or 2, that is better than nothing because they get.
Whose dog is going to sit and let them brush their teeth?
You got it. Oh, Morgan.
Remy does every night. She gets her
Every
teeth
Her
night?
dog is
You brush your dog's teeth every night?
Every
Lunchbox
single
doesn't
night.
brush his teeth every night.
No,
Morgan's dog is
night.
I don't even brush my
a
kids' teeth every night.
Morgan's dog is a therapy dog. It's highly trained and obedient.
Yeah.
I've been doing that since she was a puppy.
Yeah.
There you go.
And she lets you?
Every night. She doesn't necessarily love it, but
What about when you floss her?
I don't floss her.
You don't need to floss. That's where we draw the line.
Do dogs ever get braces?
No,
Braces?
not yet. I mean, I'm sure if 10 years from now
Oh
we'll
my
have.
gosh.
Not for
Veterinary.
looks, but
People will do it 'cause
No,
they're
I don't
idiots.
mean for aesthetic,
Do dogs
for
ever get
purpose,
breast
but-
enhancements?
So they can find a mate?
No,
Yes.
listen, it's a legit question because for chewing or if there's if their mouth is out of alignment, they might need a retainer or they can't. It hurts to eat or something.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. Yes.
Thank you.
Dogs can have underbites or overbites or narrow, and we'll sometimes say, hey, have them play with this ball. Because if they chew with the ball over and over, it expands their jaw. So we don't have braces.
Do you think eventually we'll have AI that will allow us to talk to our animals and they can talk back and the AI will know what the animal is thinking?
I don't think so.
Dang.
I wish. That would be amazing.
Dang, that'd have been cool, huh?
Make my job a lot easier.
What's the coolest trick you've ever seen a dog do that came into the office and you're like, I can't believe they taught him that?
Good question.
The coolest trick I've ever
I got
seen.
another good
dog
one saved on
do.
pocket too for after this one.
I do. It wasn't in the office, but I have a friend who will say, "Hey, get me a beer," and the dog runs to the fridge, opens the fridge, grabs the beer, and then brings it to him.
I need that.
I know.
That's pretty cool. That's a lot of work though. You have to do with the dog, Eddie.
But Bones, your dog used to shut the door.
Open and shut doors.
That
no
was
problem.
so
I put
impressive.
a rope on it. You can pull, close, do everything.
But that's like what you dedicated a lot of time to that.
Yeah, you
right?
don't say I'm a loser in any other way.
this
No,
was
I heard
a-
that.
this was
yeah, yeah.
years
Hey,
ago.
you dedicated a lot of time to that alone with just you
Yeah,
and
but
the
you
dog.
got like obsessed with that. And
No, but it was
that's-
really
but
cool to see.
Yeah.
You were in your 20s.
It's a pretty good trick. Okay, how about this? Anyone ever brought a dog in with a name that was so wild or you were very uncomfortable with? Like,
There's-
this is my dog, Nazi.
Yeah.
no.
my gosh.
Like something like that. And you're like,
Oh, man.
oh,
Or gosh,
no, that's
yeah,
terrible.
Hitler.
I have had some crazy names. I have to think about this.
Ever been asked that before? That question?
No
Like,
one's ever asked me that question.
Exactly. I told you I had a good one saved up.
I get some really creative names. Like I had a dog, and the other day his name was Russell Sprout, which I thought was cute.
The Russell Sprout.
Russell
yeah. Yeah,
Sprout.
That's good.
But I don't know that there's ever been one where I'm like, ooh, this is not a good situation. There's a lot of like video game names too, which are interesting.
Like, no one comes in with a dog named the P word.
Like, what's the P word? Penis?
No,
Not,
the opposite
not
of
that one.
The one we
got
don't
it.
wanna say.
No,
Yeah.
yeah, got it.
Yeah, yeah.
No
Like,
one's
this
Like
is
a
my-
cat.
this-
Yeah.
It'd probably be
dog-
like a cat.
Yeah. Exactly.
no. But I'll have to remember that. I'll keep that in mind.
That would be tough. Somebody comes in with a dog with a name you completely disagree with. Dr. Josie has a new podcast that is out today. It is called In the Vet's Office. Amy, any final question?
Well, I guess we've been talking a lot about human water consumption, and I feel like I fill up my dog's water bowl just once a day, and I don't know even if it's the right amount of ounces. So I didn't know we're supposed to drink half our body weight in ounces. Do dogs, they have a required amount daily, and that we should try to meet that, especially in summer?
There's like a rough estimate, and obviously dogs can be 5 pounds to 100 pounds. So you can ask your vet, and they'll tell you exactly how much about that your dog should be drinking. There is a equation for
Okay.
that.
Well, I just didn't know if it could help her because we measure out the food, but I don't ever measure water.
No, you don't need. I mean, fill up her water bowl, and if it's empty, keep filling it up, just so that she has fresh water all the time.
What my wife does to me.
I will say, when dogs can get sick and drink a ton of water. So if you're like, whoa, my dog's drinking way more water than usual, that's a red flag.
Okay.
Eddie?
Yeah, the flea collars. Do those really work? Like, and how do those work? If it's right here around their neck, how does it cover their tail?
Or a pill. Do they
Right.
say take it and no flea or ticks?
It ends up getting absorbed through their bloodstream, so it works throughout the whole body. And yes, the flea and tick collars do work. I personally don't like those as much as like the chew. I don't like to put like the topical. This is just my own personal preference, but I don't like to put the topicals or the collars on. I just prefer them to eat the chew, and it works great.
What do you crate training? Pro or con?
Big pro. They're super important.
I just got a crate.
Yeah, crates are super important. When you're potty training a puppy, it's like almost impossible to potty train them without a crate. Big fan.
What if someone's leaving home and their dog is now at home and the dog cries the whole time? Because I've seen little toys like heartbeat toys. Or does any of that stuff actually work?
Yeah, I think so. Some of it does work. It's separation anxiety. So turn your TV on, put Beethoven on your, Alexa, just things where they don't feel like they're alone. And then really high reward when you're leaving, like a Kong or a treat with peanut butter in it, like something where it's like, hey, I'm leaving, but here's this amazing
Associated
positive
with something good.
treat. Mm-hmm.
Dang. I should do that with my wife.
You put the show on for your dogs anymore?
Dogs hate the show.
Oh.
Yeah.
They don't like the
You,
segments.
you should leave Caitlin a treat, or Caitlin should leave you a treat.
Both. I just like treats. Yeah. Dogs
call.
don't want to hear this at all. They like ESPN.
They like sports.
Yeah,
talk.
they'd much rather hear Mike and Mike or whatever. Dr. Josie, thank you for coming in. Guys, check out the first episode. It is up now. Mackenzie Porter is guest number 1.
Yes.
Did you know Mackenzie?
I did. We had met at a spin class
That's Nashville for you.
randomly.
Yeah, she's awesome.
Yeah.
That's Nashville for you.
She's
You ever see
amazing.
any country stars in town just randomly?
I take care of their animals.
Oh,
That's cool.
Yeah, they'll randomly come in.
she probably can't say who it is.
Yeah, HIPAA,
Do any of them rhyme with Barrick Birch?
No,
Okay.
That's good, Bones. I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't either.
Hey, trust me, I barely do.
She
and I'm the
wouldn't
one that asked the
say
question.
either.
I know she
Yeah.
wouldn't. She went to Ohio State. You guys know that?
Go
The
Bucks.
Buckeyes.
Fun fact.
Go Buckeyes. Top 3 vet school in the country.
What's
That I didn't know.
What's 1 and 2?
One is, don't get mad at me if this isn't right, but I'm pretty sure one is Colorado State,
Okay.
and I'm pretty sure number 2 is UC Davis.
Where's Texas A&M?
Yeah, where's A&M at?
I think they're like 4th or 5th.
What?
Sorry, guys.
Classic.
We've gone downhill.
Classic, yeah. Dr. Josie, follow her at Dr. Josie Vet. And the first episode is up now in the vet's office. Dr. Josie, thank you for coming in and good luck with the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
It's a Bobby Bones show.